So it's been a while since I last uploaded, and well, since school has started, I haven't really made that much time to make videos, but trust me, I'm gonna get back into it. However, since I've been gone, PlayStation had their annual State of Play, which kind of showcased a bunch of new upcoming titles. One of which actually caught my attention, and it's called Project Eve. And I actually have a lot to say about the game, but overall, I kind of like what I saw. Now, the game does share a lot of similarities to Nier Automata, which I will go into detail later, but I think if done right, this might be a game that we will be talking about for years. And hey, before we even start, take the time to hit the subscribe button. The channel has seen some crazy growth over the past couple months, and at this point, we can only go up. Anyways, like usual, my name is Quasi, and today, let's talk about Project Eve. So what exactly is Project Eve? Well, the game is being developed by a studio by the name of Shift Up Studios, and well, there isn't much about them that I could find, but it seemed like their most popular game is a mobile game called Destiny's Child. But besides the point, Project Eve does look promising. So many of you might know Sony had a State of Play almost a week ago, and Project Eve was showcased. Now, I didn't make a video right away because I wanted more information to come out, and plus, I wanted to also gather all my thoughts. But now that enough time has passed, I actually have a lot to say. First and foremost, the game is heavily inspired by Nier Automata, just from the trailer alone. The first similarity I kind of noticed was the story. So basically, we have a post-apocalyptic setting where humanity is fighting back to take back Earth from the aliens. This is literally the plot from Nier Automata, and get this, the main character Eve is some kind of humanoid or robot just like 2B. So yeah, the similarities to Nier Automata is kind of crazy, but honestly, I don't really care. Nier Automata was honestly a good game, and I'd be more than happy to play a game just like it. But aside from the jarring similarities, the game does kind of have its own style. So first, let's talk about the main character Eve. Now, this is a negative I have about the game. Eve seems to be some sort of eye candy. Yes, her design does look cool with the skin tight bodysuit, almost similar to Bayonetta, but from the quick dialogue in the trailer, she doesn't seem to have any type of personality, and I hope she just doesn't serve as eye candy. I also hope that the game is going to tell a compelling story and focus less on the fan service. And this is kind of a problem I have with Nier Automata. For a game that has such a serious tone, it seemed the developers were trying to find cheeky ways to put out some fan service. Now personally, this doesn't usually bother me. For all I care, if we had to play as 2B naked the entire time, I wouldn't really care. It only matters when the game is actually trying to tell a serious story. So I'm hoping with Project Eve, we do have some type of personality behind the main character, and I hope she's going to be fleshed out. I also noticed the game has different costumes. First off, I noticed a schoolgirl outfit, which is kind of funny, but I wonder how this will be handled, because if you remember, I mentioned earlier that the developers is well known for a mobile game, and it's kind of like a gacha game if you know what that is. So I'm interested on how they're going to handle the monetization. I'm hoping that if they do make us pay for costumes, it's not like egregious and it's not like a lot of costumes out there, and hopefully majority of the things we want in the game can be earned just by playing the game. But as I said, there's not much information out, so we just have to make assumptions and see when the game comes out. Okay, now let's talk about the combat, because there was a few glimpses of it. Now at first glance, I thought the combat would be similar to Nier Automata, but it appears that it's a little bit different. One of the biggest issues I had with Nier Automata's combat is that it had no depth. A lot of the combat just consists of spamming the dodge button and spamming the light and heavy attacks. There was never really any strategy behind any of the encounters. The only time I felt like I had to study my opponent was for some of the boss battles, but most of the time, you just spam pause bullet and dodge, and that's how you win most of your fights. But after watching Project Eve gameplay, I didn't really get that vibe. First, I noticed a parry system, which actually really excites me. I think with that alone, we can infer that learning enemy patterns will be very important. Now, like I said, the combat is very different from Nier Automata, but the only similarity I noticed was the dodge. It looks completely the same as the one in Nier Automata, so I'm expecting it to work roughly around the same. But if I had to compare the combat to anything, I'd say it reminds me of more like Final Fantasy VII Remake and Final Fantasy 15 with a sprinkle of Devil May Cry. It's clear that a lot of inspiration was pulled from a ton of action RPGs, but hopefully the final project is something unique. Oh, and I did want to point out, I also noticed different weapon types, which seem to be like light and heavy weapons. So we can expect weapon variety, or at most different type of weapons. So that basically sums up my first impression of the game. It looks good right now, but the only thing I can say, I don't necessarily have high expectations, but I'm expecting a fun game. So here at the end of the video, let's quickly recap the things that we can expect when the game releases. So like I said, I'm not expecting a fleshed out story. Just from looking at the character design, this game gives me a fan service type of vibe, and honestly, I don't really care that much. I just hope they at least try to tell a story. One thing when it came to Nier Automata's character design, I really did enjoy 2B because at first glance, You really can't tell the vibe of the game just by looking at her. Also, I think one of the most distinct things about 2B's design is her blindfold. It kind of makes her mysterious, and it really made me question her role in the story, and I was really blown away when I found out she was actually just an android. Looking at Eve's design, I instantly get Bayonetta vibes because the trailer takes place in space, and I also get a Samus from Metroid vibe. So you can clearly see the inspiration, but it feels kind of lazy with all the raunchy angles and the camera shots that the game keeps taking. And I swear I saw some jiggle physics. Overall, I don't really expect the character development to be all that great, but hey, it might surprise me, who knows. Also, I think we can expect the combat to be quite fleshed out. I think with the amount of inspiration the game has, we can expect to see some really cool, unique combat sequences. Like I said, we can expect a parry system, which in my opinion makes any action game a whole lot better. Also, it looks like there's quick time events in the game where maybe you might press a button and a certain scene triggers. I hope this isn't spammed throughout the game because I do want a little bit of a challenge when it comes to my boss battle. But like I said, we're gonna have to see when the game comes out. And the last thing is the setting. From the looks of things, I think they might go with a horror route, but if they do that, it would be amazing. But realistically, I think it's gonna be more on the post-humanitarian side. To be completely honest, I don't really know where they're gonna go with the story. But on a positive, I do think it's kind of good that it's vague because it really helps when the game comes out to build up suspense. Now, speaking about when the game comes out, there is no official release date for Project E, but I think we can at least expect it soon. I do want to mention that there was a first glimpse of the game back in 2018, so there has been a lot of time behind the game, so I think we can at least expect it at the end of this year, or at least expect it in the middle of 2022. But the latest I would expect this game is maybe early 2023, but again, there's no news, so we just have to sit there and wait. Anyways, what is your thoughts on Project Eve, and do you see yourself getting this game whenever it may come out? I would love to hear your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. Guys, we actually hit one of my goals and we hit 200 subs, and we're actually really close to hitting 300, so it's pretty cool to see how fast the channel's been growing these past couple months. But anyways, you guys know the deal. My name is Quasey, and like always, this was just a game.